Darth Kermit here with my own Phase 1 Supreme Leader Kylo video. Finally. I've had a ton of requests for a guide to this team, but it's been pretty low on the list for a few reasons. First, I really don't recommend that many guilds run this team. It actually contributes very little overall to the completion of the raid while practically guaranteeing first place rewards. This is not good for guild morale. However, there are plenty of guilds out there just on the edge of completing CPit, and using this team to make sure you clear Phase 1 easily and quickly can help you get through the whole thing. Also, not long after the first reported Phase 1 solo with this strategy, CG released a statement that they were investigating it, so this info may not be relevant for long. If it becomes irrelevant, expect an update video from me. And lastly, this team requires very good mods, very specific modding, and a very specific action order to pull off, plus decent RNG. And I don't think we've really finished working out the absolute best modding and action order, so keep an eye on the comment section and video description for updates. This particular strategy is based on Pete Skeet's Relic 8 solo strategy, full credit to him for the general strategy. I've done about 6 hours of testing on it the last 2 weeks and made a few tweaks here and there, but mostly I've taken on the challenge of trying to optimize it for an R7 solo. Many people from my Discord server have helped with this, especially Kiru, who managed over 80% on his most recent attempt with R7 Slacker, so we're getting close. At the end of the video, I'm also including footage of a 45% run using Dronf's P1 Slacker method that's quite a bit easier to accomplish for people who are having trouble with the Pete Skeet strategy. Now before I get into the details, if you like my videos, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and support me on Patreon for written guides, mod profiles, and other perks, or just because you want me to keep making videos. The lineup is Supreme Leader Kylo, Hux, Crew, Watt, and Thrawn. You want a super fast Slacker. The faster the better, even at the expense of offense or crit damage. Try for 580 plus speed with a crit damage triangle. As best we can tell, offense doesn't matter at all for this strategy since all of Slacker's damage will come from mastery. Crew needs to be slow and as tanky as possible. Aim for 75% armor or higher with as much health as possible to go with it. Head to my Discord server if you want an explanation of why armor is so important in this raid. Watt should be as fast as possible. Aim for 330 plus speed with a good bit of health too. The faster he is, the better he can keep everyone alive. The more health he has, the more likely he is to survive long enough to keep everyone alive till the end. And now Hux and Thrawn. This is where it gets kind of interesting. You need them to be fast, but not too fast. This entire strategy is very dependent on timing, and if they are too fast, your timing will be off. So you want them to be just over 300 speed, with Hux slightly faster than Thrawn. You can see here that mine are 302 and 300 respectively. Then you want them to be as healthy as possible within that speed range. The healthier they are, the easier it will be for Watt to keep them alive and the less RNG you'll have to worry about. The basic strategy here is a bit different than using Slacker in the other phases of the raid. Because there are adds in Phase 1, we can take advantage of the massive stacking reduction to Slacker's damage to allow us to build more stacks of Siphon without feeding TM to the boss. So we won't be ramping his damage till nearly the end of the fight. If this doesn't make any sense, don't worry, I'll explain in the walkthrough portion. Other important items to note: avoid using Watt's special ability unless you need an emergency heal and the boss's turn meter is nearly full. This ability will trigger all the dots on the boss and give him a ton of turn meter. When Crew needs to use a basic attack, target an add. His basic does very little damage. When Hux or Thrawn need to use a basic, target the boss. Their attacks will do too much damage to the adds. There's only 2 real points of RNG in this fight, but they are present throughout nearly the entire fight. Number 1, who the boss hits with his secondary attack. If Thrawn or Hux die too early, you'll need to restart. Number 2, evasion. Because this strategy is so dependent on timing, a dodge from the boss at the wrong time can really throw things off. Also, if he dodges a big hit at the end and you just miss out on a bunch of damage. So if there was a dodge and you notice that the timing seems way off, you should probably restart. Now the walkthrough. I start with weapons tech here just out of habit, but you don't need to. It doesn't actually do anything in this fight. The boss doesn't have any defense to ignore, and you can't gain turn meter. It's probably better to start with shield on crew and just forget about the weapon tech so that you can have Watt start putting heals on the team one turn earlier. Next, poke a guard. Then pass out tech, shield to crew, medpack to Thrawn. Pass to Slacker. Poke the other guard. Pass to Slacker. Then basic. We don't want to start siphoning yet because we want Slacker's damage to basically drop to 0 so that we can gain stacks without feeding the boss turn meter. You'll see what I mean in a few more turns. Now we have crew basic one of the guards because he does so little damage. Then Slacker hits the same guard. Now pass out the last tech or start getting the heals out there. Next, mass attack the other guard. Now fracture the boss. Then poke. Then basic. 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 Poke. Basic. Pass to Slacker. Poke. Basic. Basic. Ult number 1. Pass to Slacker. Poke. Mass attack. Fracture. Poke. Basic. Basic a guard. Poke a guard. And you see here we're doing almost no damage, so we're going to keep these guards alive as long as possible so that we can attack them and build stacks with Slacker till we have enough stacks that we can ramp super quickly and do massive damage. Now basic the boss. Basic. Poke the other guard. Pass to Slacker and reset his cooldowns. Poke a guard. Basic. 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 Now basic one of the guards. Because the guard is stunned, it'll give Slacker 3 attacks. This helps build ult much quicker. Then mass attack whichever guard has the most health left. And now we hit ult number 2. Pass to Slacker. And now we start ramping. Because we're in ult, Slacker's stacks of Siphon are doubled. And because the guards are stunned, when we swipe with Slacker, the effective Siphon will be doubled again. So our effective stacks here is 1800, and we get to do it twice before the guards are gone. Basic. And then swipe again. Basic. Basic. Fracture. Basic. Third swipe. Now that we're out of ult, we're going to poke a couple more times. Basic. Pass to Slacker. Poke. Basic. Swipe. Basic. 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 And now ult number 3. And this is a really important bit of timing. You want to get the ult off before the captain summons 2 more guards so you don't kill them. And then you want crew to go right after the captain summons them, but before Slacker goes next so he can stun one of them so that you can double Siphon. Which is what we do next. And now your team is going to start dying off. The only one you need to survive right here is Hux, so he can do one more mass attack. If he dies here, you'll miss out on a few million damage. Here I should have passed to Slacker instead of Hux, so that Slacker could have siphoned one more time before the mass attack. This would have gained us a few % more damage. And now we just finish out with a couple basic attacks. And there's 65% with at least one mistake that cost us a few %. This particular run was also done without a crit damage triangle, which also would add a few %. So we're very close to figuring out the R7 solo. It'll just be about getting a few more stacks somewhere. We're currently playing around with a slightly faster Thrawn, which is how Kiru managed more than 80%. When we figure it out, I'll release another video on it. And now a 45% R7 run using the Dronf method. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, support me on Patreon, and enjoy the footage. And that's it. I hope this has been helpful. If you like my videos, please remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, hit that notification bell, and support me on Patreon for written guides, mod profiles, and other perks. Till next time.
I find your lack of rainbow connection disturbing.